Hi guys, so I'm going to be doing the social media book tag today. I filmed this earlier and I just didn't like how it turned out when I went to edit it, so I decided to refilm it, but I am sporting a very messy ponytail and Piggly Wiggly t-shirt right now, so you'll have to excuse my fanciness. But I wanted to get this done so that I could edit it for you all because it looked like a lot of fun. So basically this tag is 7 questions that are connected to 7 different social media websites, and you pick a book for each one. And I loved the questions because I actually found it really easy to choose books for once. So I'm excited to do this. What's sad is that I think I'm on every single social media site on this tag with the exception of Myspace. So if you want to follow me on all of those, there will be links below. You guys know I love Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr and Facebook, so if you want to add me on Twitter or anything, then there will be links below. But without further ado, let's just get started. The first question is for Twitter, which is now probably one of my top favorite social medias, but this question is your favorite shortest book, and this one was a no-brainer for me because this book is one of my all-time favorites. I love it, and I've talked about it a little bit on my channel, but it's not a new book, so I don't mention it that often. But it is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. If you haven't read this one, I highly encourage you to because it's a fantastic book. Coming of age story that follows a teenager named Charlie. And I think this is great if you're growing up or if you're a teenager or an adolescent, but even if you're older and you're not a teenager anymore, I definitely think everyone can take something from this because I feel like at some point in all our lives we experience a lot that this book shares, and I love it so much. It's really small and short too, so it's a really fast read, and it's a cool format the way it's written. So this was my pick for Twitter. Next one is Facebook, and I find this hilarious because this question is kind of like implying Facebook is an instigator and kind of like a peer pressuring website, and I feel like Facebook is just like where anything goes for some people. I question humanity sometimes with some of the things that people I know in real life post on Facebook. But this question asks what book everyone pressured you into reading. So this one was a no-brainer for me because when I first joined BookTube, I had not read this one yet, and this is one of the most popular and very well-loved books in, I feel like, young adult as a whole, but especially on BookTube, and that is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. And I did read this finally last year. I read it. It was one of the first book reviews I ever did, so this one I definitely was pressured to read a lot, and I really never had a ton of people really like tell me, oh my gosh, you have to read this, but I just felt like everyone was talking about it and everyone loved it and that I had to read it, so BookTube itself kind of pressured me. But I did read it, and I just watched the movie, which was so great. And I actually did an entire movie discussion for this, which was my last video. So if you're a John Green fan or you like The Fault in Our Stars, then you should check that out. But if you haven't read this one, I definitely recommend it. The next one is for Tumblr, and this one is a book that you read before it was cool, and this one I had a hard time figuring out. So I was staring at my bookshelf, and then it finally just stood out to me, and I thought, this is perfect, and that is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. And I picked this one because this book blew up this season, like this spring and summer kind of this year. I feel like everyone was running out to get this and read it, and I think that was mostly because of Reagan from Peru's Project, because Reagan read this and then loved it, and she has really good recommendations, so a lot of people were reading it. But I actually read this one I think 2 or 3 years ago. It's been a while. I read the entire trilogy, and it's really good. It's a fun kind of easy summer read. But this one I definitely read before, so I guess that makes me a little bit of a hipster. The next one is Myspace, and this is a book that you don't remember whether you liked it or not, and this is kind of challenging because I feel like most of the books that I read, I remember whether I liked them or not. Either I didn't finish them because of a certain reason, or I loved them, or I didn't like them but I still read them. But I chose this particular book because I read part of it when I was a senior in high school before the movie came out, and I never finished it, and I remember I never loved it. but I never disliked it, so I kind of am in the middle for it, and I need to go back and reread the entire trilogy. But that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. You guys know I've mentioned before that I haven't finished this, but I've really been enjoying the movies. I loved Catching Fire, so I definitely want to go back and read all of them before Mockingjay comes out. But this book, I only made it, I think, halfway through, and I never felt drawn to it, but it wasn't anything that I didn't dislike exactly, so I think that one kind of classifies an answer for that question. Instagram, which is one of my favorite social medias, and that is a book that was so beautiful that you had to Instagram it, and this one I Instagrammed when I got it. I still haven't read it yet, but it is so gorgeous, and I love it. And that is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I love this cover, and it looks so much prettier in person, but it's got really cool kind of Sharpie looking font here. It has a lot of pink, kind of very girly, feminine look to it. I love the back. And then the best part of it is that the inside, the actual book, is hot pink with a white spine. And then I love this part of it where it has the font on the spine. And I was thinking from this book, how cool would it be if you took off all of the dust jackets on all of your hardcovers and you put them all on your shelf without the dust jackets. I have no idea what I would do with my dust jackets or if I would like it like that, but there are a lot of books that have really pretty actual book covers without the dust jacket on, and I feel like this one is so pretty, and I would love to have that kind of spine displayed all the time. YouTube represent. It says a book you wish would be turned into a movie. So this one I know a lot of people love this one. It is the first and kind of like a companion series, and the last one is coming out in August, and I think this would be the perfect fun kind of romantic comedy love story movie, and that is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. If you haven't read this yet and you like young adult, then you need to. It is seriously one of the cutest contemporary young adult books. I love it. There are currently 2 out in the kind of companion series, and I love the second one too. I just really love this one the best out of the 2, and it's just really fun. It takes place in Paris, and it has a really good kind of book boyfriend in it, and the characters are really great, and Stephanie Perkins' writing is really great. So this one I would love to see on film. The last one is for Goodreads, and this one is a book you recommend to everyone, and I saved you guys the torment of talking about Harry Potter because I've mentioned it enough, so I chose a different one, and this book is another one of my all-time favorites. This one is probably my second standalone, or I would say tied with The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I definitely think that the overall message and kind of moral of this story is really important and really beneficial to everyone, so I think everyone should read it, and that is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This is a very powerful, kind of traumatic story, and it talks about a young girl who committed suicide, and she left behind these tapes for certain individuals to listen to, and she told all of these different people who contributed to her committing suicide why she did and what they did to affect her. And it's very powerful of how, you know, words and actions that you say about other people can really cause a reaction, and it's fantastic. I mean, it is very traumatic, and it's a very like I said, powerful story, but I love it, and I think everyone can benefit from reading this, and I would highly recommend it to everyone. Okay guys, so that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this, and if you want to do this and you make YouTube videos, then please feel free to do so and say that I tagged you, and leave a link below in the comments, or you can tweet me on Twitter at TheBookDiary. I'm also going to tag a couple of my friends on here, so I'm going to tag Natasha from Tashopolis, Miranda from Reader Skeeter, Eileen from Eileen Reads, Jessica from Prices Wong, and Cassidy from Cassidy Von Shea. I don't think any of them have done it, at least at this point. If they have, then just watch theirs anyways, but for anybody else who wants to do it, I would love to see yours, and I hope you guys are doing really well, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye guys!